Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about an exciting movie that mixes adventure, action, and comedy. It's a 1995 film called Waterworld. Just a heads up, there will be spoilers ahead. The movie starts in a world where melting ice caps have caused all the continents to be underwater. This has forced people to adjust to their new way of living. They now reside in rough floating communities called atolls, relying on seafood and trading for survival. In this world, plants and soil are more valuable than gold, and people even use their urine to grow food because fresh water is scarce. Even though the world is mostly ocean, many believe there is still dry land somewhere. Several groups are searching for this mythical place, hoping for a better life, but none have succeeded so far. We meet a man named Mariner, who lives on a makeshift boat that looks like it's made from scrap materials. He has a unique way of getting fresh water. He is seen urinating into a small container and then using a machine to turn it into drinkable water. On his boat, he has planted a lime tree, which is a rare find in this landless world. Mariner survives by fishing and collecting useful trash from the ocean. One day, after diving, he sees another boat coming toward him. The man on the other boat tells Mariner about an atoll where he found various supplies and wants to trade. However, when Mariner realizes the man is asking for nothing in return, he becomes suspicious. He soon discovers that the man has stolen all of his belongings. At the same time, a group of smokers arrives on jet skis and starts attacking them. Even though Mariner's boat is made of scrap, it is fast enough for him to escape, while the other man is caught by the smokers. Mariner then reaches the atoll, a floating city with tall metal walls. At the entrance, he says he wants to trade his items. Once inside, he reveals that he has a jar of real dirt to trade, which is very rare. The people of the atoll give him 124 chits in exchange for the dirt. He then uses these chits to buy a tomato plant, which comes with dirt, and some other scraps from a woman named Helen. After the trade, Mariner is on his way back to his boat when a family approaches him. They ask him to impregnate their daughter, but he refuses. This makes them think he is crazy, so they tell the locals to stop him. When he is captured, the locals find out that Mariner is a mutant with gills behind his ears and webbed feet. He tries to fight back, but ends up trapped under a fishing net. Later that night, Helen talks to an old man named Gregor and asks when they can leave for dry land. Gregor tells her that the direction to dry land is tattooed on the back of a little girl named Enola, but he doesn't understand it. He thinks about asking Mariner for help since he is locked in a cage. Gregor approaches Mariner and asks about his mutation, but Mariner seems uninterested. However, when Gregor shows him a picture of the tattoo, Mariner becomes curious. He wants Gregor to open the cage in exchange for the information, but Gregor cannot do that. The next day, the locals decide to drown Mariner by lowering his cage into a swamp pit. Luckily for him, an army of smokers led by Deacon arrives to attack the atoll. They are also searching for the mythical dry land and want to get to the little girl who knows the way. The smokers surround the atoll and start shooting with large machine guns, killing several residents. Soon, the smokers on jet skis enter the building using ramps they built. Inside, Gregor accidentally fills a balloon and flies away, leaving Helen and Enola behind. Meanwhile, Mariner tries to escape, and his cage starts to collapse. Helen sees this and rushes to help him. She agrees to assist him if he takes her and Enola with him, and he agrees. Mariner tells the girls to open the gate while he starts his boat, but the gate gets stuck. So he uses the ship's rigging to fly up, open the gate, and jump back to the boat. Enola and Helen also get on the boat, and they leave the atoll. Meanwhile, the smokers continue to fire their machine guns, causing Deacon's boat to explode. However, Deacon dives into the sea just in time to save himself. After the battle, the smokers continue searching for Enola, knowing she has the tattoo that shows the way to dry land. They capture one of the locals and ask him about Enola. Terrified, the man reveals everything he knows, but they kill him anyway. As they sail away, Helen asks Mariner if he knows how to get to dry land. He says he does, but warns her to throw Enola away before they go because they have limited food and water. Helen tries to convince him not to do that and even offers herself in exchange for the girl's life, but Mariner dismisses her. He explains that men like him, with gills and webbed feet, do not have those kinds of feelings. After a while, Mariner sees Enola drawing on his boat, which annoys him, and he throws her into the water. Helen panics, knowing Enola cannot swim, and jumps in to save her. Mariner seems to leave them behind, but later comes back to pick them up. As soon as they are back on the boat, the smokers arrive in a plane and start shooting at them. While Mariner goes down to get his weapon, Helen rushes to a large spear gun and fires it without his permission. This causes the plane to get caught on the boat with a metal rope, and it starts circling them, tangling everything. When Mariner sees this, he quickly goes up to cut the rope and untangle the boat, while the smokers try to do the same. A moment later, the smokers manage to shoot the rope and fly away, while Mariner swings off and lands in the water. He is furious with Helen for ruining the boat, so he cuts both her and Enola's hair as punishment. Meanwhile, Deacon figures out where they are and sends his men to find Enola. While sailing, they meet a drifter who claims to have important papers and offers to trade them for Helen. Helen refuses, but Mariner agrees. The drifter takes Helen to his boat while Mariner quickly looks at the papers and realizes they are worthless. He rushes onto the drifter's boat and cancels the deal, which makes the drifter angry. The drifter says he has a no-return policy and tries to stab Mariner. A fight breaks out, and Mariner ends up killing the drifter. In the next scene, Mariner shows how he catches fish. He dives into the water as bait, and soon a huge, mutated fish appears. He uses his weapon to kill the fish and prepares food for everyone. At first, Mariner was rude to them, but now he seems nicer. He starts talking to Enola, lets her draw with a colored pencil, and even teaches her how to swim. Helen looks worried as she sees the bond between Mariner and Enola growing stronger. After a while, they come across a barter outpost and see some men waving at them. Mariner feels suspicious, so he checks under the water and finds the smokers waiting for them. He quickly turns the boat around to escape, but the smokers chase after them. They manage to dodge the smokers' attacks, and Mariner uses extra sails as parachutes to help them flee faster. Once they are safe, Mariner forces Helen to tell him the truth about Enola's tattoo. She reveals that the tattoo shows the way to dry land. Mariner, believing dry land is just a myth, is skeptical, but Helen insists it's real. To prove it, he puts Helen inside a large bubble and takes her underwater. Since he can breathe through his gills, he dives deep into the ocean and shows her the sunken world, which shocks her. Meanwhile, Enola waits on the boat and notices something in the water, quickly hiding. When Mariner and Helen swim back to the surface, they find themselves captured by the smokers. Deacon pressures them to tell him about Enola, but they stay silent. To force Enola to reveal herself, Deacon pretends to shoot them, and she comes out, worried, only to be captured by the smokers. Deacon orders his men to kill Mariner and Helen, but they manage to escape by diving into the water. Helen says she can't hold her breath for long, and Mariner tells her he will breathe for her. He kisses her to help her breathe, which is quite a surprising way to do it. After a while, they come back to the surface and see that their boat has been destroyed. On the other hand, Deacon pretends to be nice to Enola and asks about the tattoo on her back, but she stays quiet. He offers her some colored pencils and asks again, but she still doesn't respond. Back on the destroyed boat, Mariner and Helen feel hopeless. Helen asks why he didn't accept her offer to help, and he replies that he didn't like her. His answer touches her heart, and she kisses him. They then make love on the boat, which is a strange moment given that their surrogate daughter has just been kidnapped. The next day, Mariner tries to fix the boat, but they spot Gregor in his hot air balloon. Gregor takes him to the boat where the survivors from the atoll are staying. At night, they discuss searching for dry land, but the people are hesitant to look for Enola because it's too dangerous to face the smokers. Mariner decides to go on his own to find the little girl. After some time, he arrives at the smokers' ship and starts taking them out one by one. Meanwhile, Deacon gathers the smokers and lies, claiming he has found the way to dry land. He orders everyone to start rowing to move the ship forward. As the men begin to row, Mariner approaches Deacon alone and demands that he free Enola. When Deacon refuses, Mariner threatens to drop a flame into the oil reserve, which would blow up the entire ship. Deacon doesn't believe he will go through with it, but Mariner, being reckless, drops the flame, causing a huge explosion. Deacon escapes with Enola just as Mariner reaches the top of the ship and sees him on a plane. He quickly fires a spear gun at the ship's fence and ziplines down. Using the metal rope, he creates a barrier that causes the plane to crash. Fortunately, Enola is unharmed, and they embrace. However, the ship starts to break apart, leaving them with no way to escape. Luckily, Helen, Gregor, and another resident from the atoll arrive just in time. They drop a rope to pull Mariner and Enola up, but Deacon grabs the rope and climbs up too. When Helen sees this, she throws a heavy object at him, and Enola kicks him, causing him to fall into the ocean. Mariner and Helen make it to the hot air balloon, but Deacon jumps on a jet ski and shoots at them, causing Enola to fall into the water. Deacon orders his men to capture her, but Mariner quickly reacts. He ties a rope around his leg and jumps from the hot air balloon, successfully grabbing Enola. The rope acts like a bungee cord, and he springs back up just in time, causing the jet skis to crash and explode. They finally reach the hot air balloon safely, and Gregor figures out Enola's tattoo, leading them toward dry land. After several days of flying, they spot a bird from their hot air balloon. When they look closer, they are amazed to see land for the first time in their lives. They are overjoyed and begin to explore the area. Soon, they find a small hut and enter to discover the bones of a couple lying together. They also find a map drawing similar to the one on Enola's back. It becomes clear that the hut belonged to Enola's family, who must have sent her away to bring more people to dry land. Meanwhile, Mariner feels uncomfortable on land. He realizes he doesn't belong there, and he approaches Enola to tell her he is leaving. This makes her sad. He explains that he was not born for dry land, but she tries to convince him that he will adapt. However, he stands firm in his decision and says goodbye to Enola and Helen before departing. In the final scene, Helen and Enola realize they are on the summit of Mount Everest. They watch as Mariner sails away from the cliff. If you enjoyed this recap, please give it a thumbs up and also comment on what your favorite part was. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more.